Yo, what's up, guys? Okay, welcome to the third video of this series. So as mentioned in part two, we were gonna speak about variables, and in today's video, we're gonna walk through that and how it's used and how we can actually make use of this to store information. And they have just given it away. Okay, so variables are used to store information that you can call later on in your script. It's also used to pinpoint where certain things are in your game. Now, to explain this in simple baby words to you, a variable is your school lunchbox or your school lunch that you take to school or that you get at school. Everything is grouped together and given to you, and then what do? You eat it, right? That's a variable. Okay, it gives you food for you to eat. So a variable stores information and then you use it later on. So let's walk through that quickly. Now, in here, server script service, click your plus icon there and add a normal script, okay? So forget the server versus client. We're going to come into here and we're going to actually check what variables actually are. Okay. So this is going to be your first line of code we're going to be writing, and I'll walk you step by step through it. And if you do get confused, pause the video and rewind it, or if you're stuck, drop a comment and I can assist you on that. Right. Now on here, we have something called a local. Now on Roblox scripting, everything is case sensitive. If I put a capital L there, notice how it's gone to white, because Lua does not take a capital L, especially when it comes to variables. It takes a lowercase l. Now, we can't just say local my, let's say local my fruit, whatever you want to call it. Okay, because that's not how it works. Okay, it needs to be equals to something, right? So, let's say local test, right? This is now what we're saying is, this is a variable. This is the name of the variable. Okay. Then we're going to say, what is this variable actually holding? Right? What piece of information do we want to store? So what we're going to say is, let's say we want to store a name, right? Let's say Johnny, right? Notice there's a red underline over here. The reason for that is because this is a string. Now a string is a text. Okay, it's a name, it's a place, it's something that you're using as a string or as a reference. Okay, now if it was a number, it would have looked like that. That's fine. But now if we want to save something like testing, what you want to do is you want to add parentheses. Okay, it's these things. When it turns green, you know you've got it right. Okay, now this piece here is a classic example as a variable. Okay, now this variable is used on many occasions, and 99 or 100% of the time you're gonna have something like this in your script. Okay, if you can script without having something like this, I'll give you a round of applause. Okay, because it's physically impossible. Right, now a classic example of how you use this is, let's say local speed equals 10, or local workspace equals game.workspace, which would be this over here. Okay, or you could say local my favorite food equals salad. Let's put it like that, salad. It can be anything. Okay, now these are all variables. The minute you see a local, it's a variable. Okay, now I'm not saying just look for the word local. No, if it's like this, local something is equal to something, that's a variable. Why? Because it's storing something, it's saving something for you to use later on. Now what do I mean by for us to use later on? In simple words, right? A variable as mentioned, stores information. Okay. Now, what do we actually do with this information? Right. Now, if we take this information, a simple print, right? This is used for debugging or to output to your console over here. Okay. So let's say print test. So notice I can either print testing like that, and it will still print, right? Let's run it. It will still print testing over there, testing, right? But if this is already storing information, why would I print the same exact word out if I can just print test, right? Let's test that. Let's do test. What do we get then? Let's run it. Testing, right? So there's a clear example now that test was storing testing. And when we printed the word test and we outputted to the output bar, it gave us testing. Okay. Now, let's go a little bit complicated. Let's do some math. Okay. Local, my fave number equals 10, right? Then we can say my local worst number equals 10. Okay. Now, what exactly are we going to do here? Right? Let's say we want to add these two numbers together. Okay. We can either say print 10 plus 10. Okay. Right. What does that give us? It gives us 20, because 10 plus 10 is 20, right? Hopefully you passed school, or you at least passing in math, right? Now, if we put it as minus, we run that, it gives us 0, right? Now, if we do it as a slash colon thingy, that's a divide sign, okay? So it should give us 1, right? Then, if we put a star, which is multiplication, we run that, it gives us 100, because 10 times 10 is 100, right? Right. But what if we're already storing the information? Okay. So we can say my fave number plus worst number. Okay. But now comes the tricky part, right? Let's do that. Gives us the same thing. But what happens if we actually want to save this to a certain variable and call it later on? Because let's say if a player got 20 coins now, and we want to save that so we can multiply that for, let's say, a 2x coin boost, right? How do we actually do that? So we go local result equals my fave number plus worst number. So here we know 10 plus 10 is 20. So initially when we say my fave number plus worst number, originally that will give us 20. That's exactly what we're storing there. But we don't have to do this, okay? If we do it like this, and let's say we have 40 of these, are you going to put each an individual number in, do the calculation, and then push it in here, where Roblox can do all of that for you, right? So let's Control Z, have this back to where it was. Right. Now, let's print result. What do we get? We get 20. See? So it's not difficult. It's simple, right? I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible for you to actually understand what you're looking at and how we can do it, right? Now, not only can this be used in numbers, right? We can have things like test, right? And we can have things like rubber. Let's put that. Okay. Now, you can't plus these two together. Okay, it's not gonna give you a number. And let's look at it quickly. Okay, my fave number plus worst number. Right? Let's see what actually happens. Let's run it. So look at that. We got an error. Okay. But how can we actually print test and rubber? So what we do is we take the plus sign out and we put a comma, right? Now we get test rubber. Okay. Now there comes a thing which is waiting. Let's say you wanted something to wait before it even printed. So let's say we first wanted test to print, right? We only wanted test to print first. And we wanted to wait like 6 seconds or 1 second before it prints rubber. So task.wait 1. So we're doing wait. So this is up to you. Task.wait or wait. Okay. Now wait is deprecated, meaning it's outdated. So task.wait is the most efficient way to do this. Okay. So we put 1. And then we can say print worst, oopsie, don't be me guys. Okay, worst number, right? So now what's gonna happen? We're gonna join, it's gonna print test. It's gonna wait 1 second and it's gonna print rubber. Let's test it. So there's test and there's rubber. Okay, so let's see if we can actually make this more visible. Let's run it, test, and rubber. You see? So if you wanted to do it like that, you could. Or you can just put it like this. It's simple. It's not rocket science. Scripting is a language on Lua that works line by line. Okay? You can't go and put these here and now go and put that. Because look there. Now we've got red lines there. Let's run it. What happens now? Null, null, meaning false, false, or 0, 0. Okay, because there's no information there. We're printing something that's not even there because our locals are here. Our print statement is here. It's like giving the answer to something when you don't even know the question, right? That doesn't make sense. Okay, so that is, it's like at its best that I can explain variables. It's pretty simple. Now, in our next video, we're going to be looking at tables and how we can actually work with them. And in that video, we're going to be looking at for loops also. So we can loop through these tables. So if you do have any questions or you got stuck somewhere or you need explaining, my server is open to you guys. Feel free to ask me or comment down below and I can see if I can help you or explain better to you personally, and then hopefully you understand it. As I've mentioned, it's not for everyone, but yeah, see you fuckers.